What the hell? Don't you be floating those spy balloons over here. Don't you be floating your spy balloons over here. It's Georgia. We'll shoot them down. We'll get my gun and shoot them down. Hey guys, Doc. Kind of a random video today. I'm gonna walk around. We're gonna talk about the new house, the new project out here, about plans, what we're gonna do for a lawn back here. In the comments down below, you guys can actually write down there and say, hey Doc, I think you should plant this and this and this based on my conditions. Not just what you like or what you think, but based on the conditions. I'll walk you down there, we'll talk about it. Then I'll take you inside the house a little bit because we're getting real close. One of the last things to do on a project like this is to put your floors down. And guess what? My floors are going down this weekend. And then we have a few little touch-ups, and we'll probably got still another 4 weeks out before we move in there. And we're gonna keep the other house through the growing season to walk you guys through your Bermuda and we get that place looking really nice. But I wanna make sure you guys understand something. And I talked about this in the last video. We talked about pre-emergence, and I really stressed the lawn guides. We've had these up for years. Over 1 million people now have gone to our free lawn care guides and just use them because they don't have to sign up for anything. There's no email, there's nothing, there's no app. They're up there, use them. So there's a website for Bermuda Lawn. It's bermudalawnguide.com. Then there's zoysialawnguide.com, and then there's the freelawncareguide.com. If you just go to freelawncareguide.com, which is the cool season site, there's actually links to those other websites at the top. There's calendars, there's discussions on there. We talk about problems you may have, about funguses, about insects, about fertilizers, whatever you have, so use them. So I'm just gonna walk around today. We'll talk a little bit about what I'm putting up here. I wanna show you the vegetable garden, I'll show you the fields, but I wanna take you inside and show you some of the progress on the house. It's just a random video since we can't go outside no more because we got them spy balloons hanging all around us. So hold on. Okay, so before I get real random, I'm just gonna take you down to the farmhouse. I'll show you some progress. I'll drive around the property. I'm gonna do some random stuff today, but I wanted to address this issue because I have taken several lawns from dirt and actually established them with seed. I've actually been involved with sodding projects, and I've actually been involved in lawn conversions. That is taking one lawn from one type of grass and switching it over to another. And I can't really make your selection for you. A couple of primary things. Number one is going to be your zone. Obviously, if you're way up north, you're not going to plant Bermuda and you're not going to plant zoysia because it's just not a warm season grass. You're going to plant a grass that fits your zone. So you want to check and see. All your manufacturers and all your seed distributors and sod distributors will have zone maps, and they'll tell you what grasses will work in your zones. The next thing you need to consider is light. If you have a lot of trees around your property, you've got to stay away from grasses that require a lot of light. As an example, Bermuda. Bermuda has to have full sun, period. You've got to have full sun almost all day long, a full 8 hours of sun. If you have a bunch of trees, you're going to struggle with your Bermuda, plain and simple. Zoysia. Zoysia, you can get away with maybe 2 hours less sun, we found. So if you come out with a zoysia seed or a zoysia sod, and they do vary on their light differences, but a zoysia you can get by with a full 6 hours of sun in most cases. There are a lot of fescues, there are a lot of other grasses out there that are more shade tolerant. But let's say you're in a really hot zone. I mean, you're in the middle of Arizona and you all summer long you're scorching hot and it's 106 degrees. I mean, you're not going to plant a cool season grass out there. You're going to go with something that can tolerate some of those extreme temperatures. But you can also, one thing I want to stress to you is that you can, especially if you're moving into a house and you got dirt out there, you can do a conversion. What's that conversion? You can start off with something like a fescue or a Kentucky blue, and then you can convert that over into a Bermuda and a zoysia. Why is that? It's because fescues, Kentucky blues, all those kind of grasses, those cool season grasses, they'll germinate colder and they'll start to do better in the colder weather. But your zoysia and your Bermuda, really you have to hold off until it's warm. And when I say warm, I mean you really need to have temperatures, I would say, hitting that 80-degree mark almost every single day. That's when you can do your seeding of your zoysia and your Bermuda.
Again, Bermuda and zoysia, they want it warm to seed and to put down. Cool season grasses, but you can start off with the fescue and then mow it down really short and go back and overseed with the Bermuda. So just keep that in mind. Look at your zone, look at your shade, look at your light, and just figure out what's going to work well for you. The other thing is what equipment do you have and what equipment are you willing to buy? If you want a Bermuda lawn and if you want to keep it really, really short, you're going to have to spend the money on a reel mower. On the other hand, if you don't want to invest in equipment, you just want a push mower or just a riding lawnmower, then something like a fescue, maybe even a Zenith zoysia that has a bigger blade on it, something like that is better for you. I don't recommend really Bermuda if you're going to be for the average person that has a rotary type system. You can cut it, but it's going to need to be kept longer. It's not going to cut as well. This, amazingly, this putting green is dwarf bent grass, and it has survived this winter where we've gotten down to 10 degrees. I'm really shocked with that. Now down at the beach house, I brought in a whole layer of soil. We started with raw dirt, and from seed we planted zoysia, and we have the most beautiful zoysia, Zenith zoysia seed. We have the most beautiful Zenith zoysia grass down there. Everyone always stops and says, man, your lawn is so beautiful down there. So we have zoysia down there. We have Bermuda here. At the farm property, we had raw dirt, so I had to get roots in the ground. And I'm going to stress this in this video over and over, get roots in the ground. So we put down initially some fescue. Then we put down some winter rye, annual rye, some annual ryegrass. And now I'll show you here in a second. It looks gorgeous, but eventually we're going to slowly convert that. I'm not going to kill it off. I'm just going to cut it down. And when the temperatures come up, I'm kind of thinking I might go with a mix and maybe try some zoysia back there and mix in some other cool season and just see what wins. See what's going to grow and what's going to do best. Sometimes you just got to experiment. So anyways, let's go back out and we'll walk around and I'll show you. So what are some of my decision guidelines? Well, first of all, I'm in Georgia, sort of middle Georgia. So we're going to get some really warm temperatures. We're going to have really warm temperatures. Like last year, we had a horrible drought. So I have to sort of figure that in. Southern grass would really do well. But the other factor I have is I have some of these trees back here that are going to shade out my lawn for probably the first few hours of daylight. I've got these big trees back here, and then here's the lawn. Right now, because it's nice and pretty and green, you can tell that this is annual ryegrass. There's annual ryegrass here, and then of course some weeds inside of there, which is fine. I just want roots. This was bare, nasty ground, and now we've got it looking real pretty. My initial gut reaction is to come back here and do a 2-seed, do a double seed. Throw down something that's more of a cool season grass, not even really cool season, but heat tolerant, maybe a heat tolerant Kentucky blue, heat tolerant fescue, and then mix in a zoysia seed. And do a seeding back here and just let them compete, see which one wins. I don't know which one's going to grow in this type of soil well. I don't know which one's going to do well in this type of light, but it's not a bad way to do it. Put them both out, let them win. And then over the years, you'll see that generally one of those will take over more than the other, and then you can actually come back. So I can come back if the zoysia really starts to take off well. I'll come back and I'll heavily seed more zoysia. All right, so for any of you that are following along with this project, we've got all the shiplap in, and we've got these beams from this 1795 tobacco barn. Let me show you these things. Aren't they just gorgeous? Man, let me tell you what. They really make this place pop. They look so good, these beams up here. In one of my previous videos, I talked about aging wood, and I'll show you where we use that aged wood up here to sort of match. We took brand new rough cut cedar and we aged it. And you can see, here's where we use that rough cut cedar in here. Backsplash is up, plumbing is going in, countertops. And then this is what we're using. This is what we're using on the downstairs. This is an engineered actual hardwood oak. So that'll go downstairs. Upstairs, where is that LVP? Over here, upstairs already? It's upstairs, okay. So I'll go ahead and I'll run up there and show you the LVP we're doing upstairs. Here is the bathroom. Oh, come on, focus, man. So they came and measured for the shower. We're gonna have a glass shower here. This is a no-step shower. This is the tile, so that's all done over here. So custom vanity that's going in here with a marble top, ship up on that back. Actually have a toilet, isn't that nice? And the one thing I didn't want is I didn't want a bunch of reds and yellows in here because of all the grays and blacks. So this is more of a white pine. It's a white pine with a little bit of a gray tone to it. I really like it. It's gonna look nice. I don't think you guys have seen, there's a lot been going on. You guys haven't seen the metal railing, have you? Let me show you that. So this used to be a bunch of old 2x4s. And we had a custom iron railing made for this up here. But that's the new metal railing we had custom made on site, and then they took it back to their shop and finished welding it off. Got a black cool chandelier that's going to come down here. And then this is the LVP. Let's see here. And then this is the LVP we're going to be using. Now LVP is luxury vinyl plank. We actually use this at the beach house. It goes down really well. And of course, the best flooring man in the world is over there doing some leveling and repairs. You gotta have a good flooring person. And it's the first thing he said. He says, I take ownership of a house when I put my floors down, right? Yeah. That's key to it. You gotta take ownership. You just can't come in and do the job. He spent 3 hours over in here fixing all these floors. And then here is this old bedroom over here. That's the new tile. Really liking that. We're gonna do custom glass over here. Let me show you. Now this bathroom, for some reason upstairs, everyone that sees it says, man, I love that shower. And this is an insert bottom, but it's all custom tile all the way up. And that looks really nice. I got a bad trail camera. Man, the cardinals are everywhere. Vultures, look at that. Can you see the vultures flying? Them spy vultures. We're putting in a new road. We installed a bridge back over here across the creek. I had my guys build a really nice bridge so the UTV could get across it, and I'm gonna go use that road and go up and change out one of my trail cameras that doesn't seem to be working. So this is the bridge that I had my guys build. I really like it. So what's interesting about this area is we saw this on a satellite image, and we call this the bald spot. It's just a big open circle up here. And so what we're going to do next year is we're actually going to plant this. We got a corn feeder up here, but the game camera over here is not working. Oh, one thing I want to do is I want to show you after we sat in stands, you know, and saw thousands of deer back here, we really started to learn where they want to hang out in their habitat, and they want to be really back in here in this thick stuff. So I mean, you can probably see right here. These are all from today or yesterday because of the rain. I mean, this is just so heavily traveled by the deer. And it literally looks like someone's riding a dirt bike back through here with all these trails. There's game trails all through here. But one of the problems is this is a really thick area. So I had my guy, I told him, one of the guys that helps me out here, I said, I want to build a tall deer stand. Tall. So the base of this stand is 16 feet high. These are 16-foot 4x4s. Look at that monster. Oh God, I'm such a redneck. So there she is. It's a 16 feet up. I got to build a ladder, get ready to put a roof on it, and then we'll stain it. But it looks all, and then the other day we put a corn feeder down over in here, about 30 yards, 40 yards down there. We put a corn feeder, man, the deer are just piling into that. And a lot of people are going to be saying, oh, you killed them baby deers, dog. I saw over 1,000 deer this year during hunting season. Took one. I'm more of a game manager than I am a game hunter. Now that I'm old and lazy. Took one buck off this property and spent thousands of dollars and thousands of hours working this, making this wildlife. One of the issues I do have, we might want to free range some chickens up in that area. And we saw tons of turkeys earlier in the season. We're not seeing them right now. And we think our problem is the raccoon population. I mean, we have a huge herd. We got to start thinning it out. We've already started to thin it out a little bit, but anything that's a ground bird, raccoons will just kill it off. So they really attack the turkey population. If you've got chickens, they'll go in there, they'll eat the eggs, they'll kill the chickens. So our goal is to probably take 75 to 100 raccoons off this property. And they are monsters. I mean, they're 15 to 25 pounds. They're just big old things. Oh, look at that, guys. I decided we're gonna have some warmer weather this week, so I decided to come out here and cut the putting green. And when I cut it, I actually left all the clippings on top of this to give it a little bit of insulation. And then I put down some green shocker. Yes, February, whatever it is, beginning of February, I'm cutting my dwarf bent, and I'm putting green shocker on it. It looks great. So it's really crazy about, that grass selection. I can't believe this is just looking the way that it is. Man, it's taken some real heavy beatings. So doing the right grass selection is pretty important. Understanding the zones, understanding how it's going to react. Now, in the summertime, when we get up to 95 degrees and we have a drought, that's going to burn out. Unless I come out here and water this 3 times a day, that's going to burn out. So it does matter. Anyway, it's just a fun video. Saturday, killing time, watching the hardwood floors go in. Talk to you later. Doc.